Hey and welcome back. Today we are going to understand how port mapping works. Also, we are going to learn how volumes and bind mounts will secure our application. So stay with me. When you run your container, you often need to access the services running inside of it. And this is done through port mapping. Today I'm going to show you how you can do it. I will start with Docker, create, and then I will add the port mapping by using the following flag -p. Then I will add the port inside of my host 8090 colon, and then the port inside of my container 80. After that, the image I'm going to use, paste. And for the people who didn't watch the previous video, this image is PHP image that came with pre-configured Apache server. And before I click enter, let's check this visual aid to get better understanding. So let's pretend this is my computer and I ran the previous command inside of my computer. In this situation, every request that came to the port 8090 will be mapped directly to the port 80 inside of the container. And this rule will be applied on every IP address that assigned to this computer. So to understand what I mean, let's zoom out. Let's say this is my local network, and inside of it, I have the following devices: my phone, PC, router, also my laptop. And inside of my laptop, I'm running my Docker container. So using my local IP address 129.186.0.3 will give me the same result I'm going to get if I used localhost. The most important point, I should provide it with the right port, 8090. It's also possible to open your mobile phone and write the IP address of your laptop and then add the port number, and you will get the same result as soon as your mobile phone and your laptop are in the same network. So now let's come back to the terminal to run the container and make some experiment. And now enter, cut the container, Docker, start, copy the ID, paste, enter. My container is running now. I will come back to the browser, open new window, and local host 8090. Enter. So forget about this error, it's normal. I want also to show you that my local IP address will work the same way. I will paste it and enter. Also, I got the same result. Now I want to discuss bind mounts and volumes and the reason why I should use them. So I will start as usual with creating the container. This time I'm going to add a flag, name, no volume, let's say. After that I will add the port and the image I'm going to use. And enter. I have the image now. And now I'm going to start it. So Docker, start, enter. The next step is opening the shell inside of the container. And to achieve my goal, I'm going to use the following command. So Docker, execute, AXEC, and then I'm going to add the following flag, -IT. So I will help me to run the terminal session in interactive mode, and T will provide me with full functional terminal interface. I'm going to speak about them in details in a while. After that, I'm going to add the name of the container, so no volume. And now you need to specify which shell you are going to use. You have two options, SH, and this is the simple basic one, or Bash, and this is the advanced one. Came with more features. I prefer to use it. Enter. And now I'm inside of the container. Before I move on, I want to show you what does this flag means. So I will leave the shell using exit, and I will come back in the history using Control P, backwards using Control B, and I will delete the letter T and enter. I am now inside of the shell, so I'll try to came back in the history, and yeah, it didn't work. You can recognize also, I don't know what is my current user, and for example, what is my current path. I believe you understand now what is the benefit from this flag. Going to leave now using exit. I will repeat the process, but this time I'm going to add only T. Enter. Now I'm inside the shell. It looks normal, but let's try to run some commands. Like for example, pwd to see the current path. No respond. Let's create some file. No respond. So something happened, but I don't know what's going on. I believe you understand now what does it mean to have an interactive session. I'm going to exit. Even exit does not work. So I'm going to use Control C. Let's come back to the original process. So clear. And then I will come back in the history. Enter. This is the default directory inside of your container. Also, this is the place where the Apache server is going to serve the project from. I will start with creating a file, index.php, and this is the entry point for your application. After that, I will add the PHP syntax to the file. So echo, double quotation. I will start with writing the PHP syntax. Echo, hello from the container. I will close the quotation and close the syntax. I used to print the message inside of the command line, but this time I'm going to print the message inside of the file by adding double greater than, and then the name of the file, index.php, enter. And now let's open the browser to check the message. And localhost. And yes, we got the message. Hi from container. I'm going to exit the shell, and then I will clear the page. So in my current situation, deleting the container will cause losing the data. And to show you what I mean, I'm going now to stop and delete the container. After that, I will rebuild it under the same circumstances. I'm speeding the process as I don't want to repeat myself. And now I will start the container again, and let's check the browser. My entry point, the file index.php was gone. So here came volume and bind mount into play. Both of them will help me to secure my application. I will create new container. So docker create, and then I will add a volume using the following flag -free, and then I will add the name I'm going to use. Let's say test volume, and then colon, And on the right side, I will specify the directory or the path I'm going to secure. So in our case, it will be var, and be sure to start with slash, otherwise you will get an error. www and then HTML. You can also add file, for example, index.php, but I want to secure the whole folder, so I will leave it like this. After that, I will add the name of the container, port, and image. So I will speed the process. And then I'm going to start it. After that, I will get into the container and I will add a message. And now let's check the browser. And yeah, this is our message. I'm going now to stop the container and repeat the process using the volume to show you that the file index.php will stay there. So now I delete it. I will create it again. And if you can recognize, I have the same volume here. So I will start it, docker, start, paste the name again, and let's come back to the browser and reload the page, and I got the same message. Even I'm going to get inside the container to show you I have the file. So ls index file is still there, and I will print a message using cat index. I have it. So as a user, you are not directly involved in creating or managing Docker volumes. All of this will be done through the Docker engine. So for example, I don't know where the Docker engine is going to store the volume inside of my host. I'm only creating the volume and deleting it. And this will lead us to the next topic. I will exit and then I will clear the page. So bind mounts will allow you also to secure your application, but it works a little bit different. It synchronizes files and folders between the host and the container. I believe you will not understand unless I showed you an example. So I will create a folder, mkdir, and let's call it test bind mount. And enter. Let's get into the folder. So cd test bind mount. We are now inside the folder. So docker create, and then I will use the same flag like volume -v, but this time I'm going to specify directory instead. So directory colon directory. So you can start with point slash, and this will refer to the path where we are running our command, but I really recommend you to start from the root. So in my case, I am inside home, my username Nasim91, and then our folder test bind mounts. In your case, it will be a little bit different. So if you don't know your current path starting from the root, you can use pwd, and this will print the path. I hope it's clear. And now I'm going to specify the directory I want to secure inside of the container. I will add a name, port, also the image I'm going to use, and enter. So now all the changes I'm going to apply inside of the host will be reflected immediately to the container. So I don't need to get inside of the container like volume. I can work directly from here. So let's create our file, touch index.php, and I will add a message. And now let's check the browser. And look what I got. Hello from the host. I will make some changes. So let's add another folder and file. And let's check if they are inside of the container. Congratulations! Today we finished the basics. In the next part, we are going to start creating our first real project. See you.